Hey everyone, it's the Snaky back again with another video. We're here today with a bit of a, I suppose, performance video on Oblivion Remastered on my particular hardware, which is an RTX 4080 and a 5800 X3D with 32 gigs of DDR4 memory. I think this is a pretty good demonstration of what you're to expect. I'm going to talk about some of the settings that I'm using and why I'm using them, and most importantly, before we actually jump into the game, I want to show you two mods which I think are quite essential, really, at least for me. I'm not a huge modding person. I normally like to play the game fairly vanilla, but in some cases it's good to have things that actually, you know, quality of life changes with the game. And one that is absolutely needed is the ultimate engine tweaks that you'll find on Nexus Mods by, I think it's supposed to be Paylox, however that's supposed to be said, I don't know, maybe it's P40 locks, I don't know. But despite his name, his mod is excellent. It really reduces stuttering. I didn't get a huge amount of performance boost from it. If you're on a lower end GPU, you definitely will. But you can see here by the post that it's overwhelmingly positive for this mod. And I found the biggest thing for me was it reduces massively the stutters that you get as you're moving through the world. I have this installed on an NVMe drive, a fairly fast one at that. And I'm still getting I was getting massive stutters, but this mod has really decreased that, so it's an absolutely essential one. And second of all, finally, it's arrived in a basic form, but I only wanted a basic form of it with no customization or anything like that. We finally got, thanks to JJ Doorframe, the hold to sprint mod, which really makes my previous video, I suppose, outdated now. It's if you want to run it with the auto hotkey script, you can, but ultimately this mod does exactly what it says in the tin. It allows you to hold down the sprint key to start sprinting and then release it to stop sprinting. The installation is there. You will need the UE4SS mod here, which basically allows you to install a lot of different kinds of mods. It's a kind of a dependency for a lot of mods on Nexus Mods here. Again, I'm not overly familiar with Oblivion modding. It wasn't something I did when I played the original game all that much. So for me, I'm only installing the odd one here, but all the instructions you need are here and nice and clear, and the post section there as well also shows this works, and I have tested it and it works perfectly as well. So just before I start the video, those are the only mods that I'm running in terms of anything performance wise or quality of life wise. Now we can actually jump into the gameplay, and I can talk to you a little bit about what you're to expect if you've got my configuration of hardware. Okay, so we're in game now, and I want to show you first of all, before we start off, what my, I suppose, recommended settings for my combo of the 4080, 5800 X3D and the 32 gigs of DDR4 memory is. These are my settings, and this is what I recommend, or at least in my case, I have found to be most playable. I'm running at full screen 1440p. I've got 100 FOV on both first and third person. I've got motion blur turned off. Now I've got the screen space reflections turned on, even though it's got that artifact in the water, which I'll show you in a little while. But for me, I just like the extra reflections that you get with it. Some people are probably screaming at their screens now saying, turn it off, but that's what I've got on. Quality level now, overall I've got my quality set to high. If I set this to ultra, I lose around 10 to 15 frames, and for me in this game, those sort of margins really do add up. For the responsiveness that I want, I find high is better for me. But what I've done is then, by turning this to high, it allows me to turn hardware ray tracing on and set it to the ultra preset, which looks very good. It also makes the lighting and the foliage look quite good as well, which I'll also try and demonstrate to you in a while. If I go down here to my upscaling technique, I'm using DLSS. This is the standard DLSS that comes baked into the game. It's not the DLSS 4. I'm not using DLSS Swapper or the NVIDIA control panel or anything like that. This is just what you get with the game. I've got that set to quality, and I've got the sharpness set to 20 there. Now, DLSS frame generation. If you're the type of person that likes to use this, all the power to you. Turn it on, gain your extra 20, whatever frames a second, fantastic. For me, I am super sensitive to input latency, and so as a result of that, I rarely ever use frame generation. But if you like it and you're able to use it, go for it. NVIDIA Reflex I've got set to enabled. If I set this to enabled and boost with my combo of GPU and CPU, I get some micro stutters, so enabled for me is the best setting. And those are my graphical settings. So let's quickly jump around here and see what we're dealing with. So At the moment, we're hovering anywhere from 70 to 80. Sometimes it drops down to 60. We'll jump on the water here and we'll just run across. Now, you may still see some stutters. I must admit this mod doesn't completely eliminate them, but it's really night and day from what it was before I actually had the mod. And I also need to point out that when you install it for the first time or you update it, you'll often have to run around to kind of, I suppose, maybe cache some of the shaders and things like that, or whatever engine tweaks it's doing. When you're moving to new areas and things, you will have to do it again. Mud crab alert here. Let's get rid of this guy. Let's shock him. There's my shock. There we go. Here's the Oblivion Gate. This is a nice demonstration of the lighting here. They do look fantastic. We're not going to go into one now because the performance is very similar to being inside a cave or whatever. Someone's still attacking me. I'm trying to apologise if I'm amazingly ass at the combat in the game. I'm still kind of getting used to it. There we go. Did he block that? So that's what we're looking at really performance-wise at nighttime here. Let's jump down to this light source here as well. What happened to this guy? Is that the guy that I shocked as well? Oh yeah. What's in the chest? An inkwell. No thanks. I've also got this amulet as well that allows me to walk on water, which is handy. That sprint animation, a lot of people are really upset about. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm never really in third person anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let's go back to the starting point here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward time a little bit, and hopefully we actually get a nice sunny day as opposed to the Irish weather that we sometimes get in Oblivion, which is nice because it feels like I'm actually going outside in the real world. So let's fast forward time here. Can't wait while enemies are nearby. Oh, fantastic. What enemies are nearby? Okay, I'm just going to do a jump cut here until the point at which I'm able to actually move forward in time again, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've actually managed to move time on, and I can get back up on top of where we were here again. And we can see now this is actually a perfect demonstration of the graphics in the game, but also as well, I suppose, the lighting on show. It's just a fantastic demonstration of it. If you look at the trees here, if you turn on the software lumen as opposed to the hardware lumen, I find that's where you notice it most in the foliage. The shadows in the foliage they look, for me, they don't look as good. Some people may be able to play it and not notice it, but I find once you kind of notice it, it's hard to it's kind of hard to ignore it again. They become very kind of light. It's like all of the leaves are being lit up all the time. So I like, from that point of view, having the hardware lumen turned on looks fantastic. And I think this is really a great demonstration of when the game is at its best. You know, it does look fantastic. I'm getting 71 frames a second, and there's going to be people at the moment that are probably scoffing at the fact that I'm complaining that I'm getting these amount of frames, but I mean, it's pretty powerful hardware. I mean, you expect to get these frames, and you're disappointed that you're not getting more. So we're hovering here at the moment. We've dropped a few frames since the nighttime scene. We're getting anywhere now from I suppose averaging 70 is the great terminology. We're still getting some slight hiccups there in the frame graph, but it's much smoother with the mod there. I'll just run up here to this cave. I'm not actually sure have I explored this. We'll put it on third person there as well for a minute and get that sprint animation. I hope you like my the raiment that I got from becoming Grandmaster of the Arena. Very 2025. Very I don't know what you'd even call that, to be honest. Gotta love those sandals as well. Let's run up to this cave. We're going up to 90 now. I suppose there's more happening over there. We've got the landscape further off. Just run over this hill here as well. I would like to be fighting something, but there doesn't seem to be any bandits spawning, so... Is it a deer down in the water? What is that? What the fuck is going on there? No, it is a deer. I didn't know the deer could swim in this. There you go. Oh, we got a wolf. Let's go some combat. Zap. There we go. So yeah, overall it's running okay, and I mean, with the high settings, you know, you really do notice an improvement. Now, let's turn up the settings here. Let's go back in and let's just set it to ultra just to show you what I was talking about. So we'll confirm those, confirm our settings, and now we're averaging, I suppose we've dropped, we were I suppose averaging around 80 there, or the high 70s. Now we're down to 60. We've dipped down to the 50s there. So you can see there is definitely a difference. And in terms of visual improvement, I mean, maybe on the blades of grass and things, I don't know, are we seeing a bit more reflections? Basically though, I haven't been able to see a huge difference. High for me is perfectly fine. Maybe slightly more things being rendered in the distance as well. There's mudfish flapping around down there. So this is what I was kind of talking about. For me, the trade-off just, it's not enough. I don't notice the difference in visuals enough to say, right, I'm going to put it on Ultra. Now, when this game gets patched, if it does get patched soon, you'd hope that we'd see a slight improvement in performance. Maybe some of these engine mods won't be needed anymore. So I'm going to set my settings back to high again, because that for me is the sweet spot, as I said. Confirm those, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick trip into the Imperial City. Now, this is a good place to benchmark as well because there's a lot more NPCs on screen, and with more NPCs obviously comes decreased performance. So my adoring fan is back, which is fantastic. He actually disappeared for ages and I don't know where he went. So now we're dipped below 70, so we're in the 60s now with a lot more NPCs moving around. Let's head down over this side. Lighting still does look very good, I have to say. There's our well. We'll go up here to the water. Get some reflections going. That water does look good now with those lily pads. And we've jumped up in performance because we're obviously looking at the wall. If we go back over here, you can see we got a stutter there now again as it obviously loaded in some data. And now we're back into the main square again, and we can see back down to the 60s again. This is the type of performance you'd be expecting. Now let's turn this up to Ultra, and you can see, especially in the Imperial City, this is what I was talking about. This is where the differences come in. So now we're dropping down. Now we've not dropped as much as I expected, but again, it's just the margins. You're into fine margins here, and for me playing, it's easy for you to look at the footage and say, well, that's, you know, well, what, you've lost a few frames, it's not going to make a huge difference. It does impact the fluidity and the input responsiveness of the game. Just having those extra few frames does help massively. Just with everything, really. Oh, this hold to sprint mod is fantastic. It's just a feature that should have been in the game from day one. I don't know how it wasn't. I don't know if I noticed my stamina... Oh no, maybe not. I was going to say my stamina returning a bit slower. So there we go. So it's a bit of performance there on Ultra.
Hello.
I think that's really all that I really need to demonstrate to you. If you have any requests of places you want me to test out inside and in the internal scenes, actually just go into a shop here, or an inn, just to see what the indoor performance is like. So this is the type of performance you'd be expecting in the indoor scenes. Actually higher in the caves because there's less items and NPCs. Yes. But you can see there, once you go inside, absolutely no problem with frames at all. But when we go back outside, you do notice that there's a massive drop. So hopefully they managed to improve the performance within time. Lots of stutters there when you come out first as the world is rendered in. I'm enjoying the game. I'm having great fun being back again and playing, and I suppose doing the quests that I had done before and getting to know the characters again, and the combat, however poor it can be fun at times as well, and the arena of course. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I just hope that they improve the performance, because with the 4080 and a 5800 X3D, you kind of be expecting a superior performance to this. So if you've got any questions, guys, about the video or about anything else, any other aspect of the game, let me know down below. I highly recommend you install the hold to sprint mod, because it just changes the whole dynamic of the game and makes it a lot more playable for me. But yeah, that's been the video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.